Hey guys, it's Michael Padone with SalesBuzz.com, and I received an opening value statement for somebody. They wanted me to tweak it, so I'm going to go over this and I'm going to break it down. Then I'm going to show you the recommendations I gave in order to increase their likelihood of getting a sales conversation started right out of the gate on a cold call. Ready? So here's what they sent me originally. It says, "Hi, prospect's name. This is," and of course their name, their company, and it says, "I know I'm calling you out of the blue, but we help organizations cut in half the time it takes them to effectively train their users regarding cybersecurity. What are you doing now to educate and train your users?" Okay, is this a great opening value statement? No, I wouldn't recommend this. Is it a good opening value statement? I've heard worse, but let's break this down and explain why some of these things are not the best or most optimal, and then I'm going to show you what is. You ready? Okay, so the first thing is this: is when it says "I know I'm calling you out of the blue," I prefer not to say that because I actually have I have three opening value statements when I'm making a phone call to somebody, a cold call, right? So if my first one doesn't hit for some reason, then I go to the second one. My second one actually says, "Listen, you probably get calls like this all the time, but I'm actually not calling you out of the blue. I did a little research on your organization and then I get to the what's in it for them," right? So that's my transition for the few times that I might not get a yes on the first attempt. So with that being said, I wouldn't recommend that. The other reason is too is you shouldn't be calling your prospects out of the blue. Out of the blue to me means you just pick up a phone book and you randomly close your eyes and put your finger down somewhere and you call them, right? So every lead that you're calling should at least meet your ICP, your ideal customer profile, whether it's you that researches it or you have somebody else that researches that lead and then puts it in a bucket for you. Either way, it shouldn't be out of the blue. That's the other thing. Okay, now let's get to the heart and the meat of this opening value statement here. It says, "We help organizations cut in half the time it takes them to effectively train their users regarding cybersecurity." So this was my question to the client is why would they want training to begin with? Well, he says, "Well, ransomware." Okay, well, we have to hit that pain point because cutting time in half is going to be one of your features or benefits of using you, but why would they want to use you to begin with in the first place? Does that make sense? All right, so now I'm going to show you what I came up with that in a second, but let's go to the end of this. This is a very common, popular type of way to end an opening value statement, and it's absolutely incorrect. Now, and when I say this, listen, I'm speaking from experience because you have to understand I've been a straight commission sales rep for over 25 years. We were taught to use stuff like this way back in the late 80s, early 90s, and it's still hanging around today. The reason why so many sales managers are using this and telling their team to use this type of ending to their opening value statement is because that's what we were taught way back in the day. And the purpose behind it is to try to grab control. You're asking a question to establish control. We don't want to control our prospects, right? We want to get rid of that way of training, that way of thinking. We want to engage our prospects. We want to have a sales conversation. Okay, so when you say, "What are you doing to educate and train your users now?" You're trying to establish control. Sales reps that don't know any better or have been taught this, they think that's the right way to do it. And what happens is the prospect's guard is still up. Even though if they answer you, okay, sure, technically you're in control, but the problem is the prospect's guard is still up. You're getting those short and one-word answers. And so it's like trying to drag a mule uphill, right? So I have a much better way. So let's go ahead and break this down here. Here's what I came up with. So instead of going in and saying, "I'm calling you out of the blue because we help organizations cut in half, blah, blah, blah," you do this, right? You say, "The reason for my call is we show employees how to identify malicious emails before they unwillingly release a ransomware attack on your business. And if I caught you at a good time, I'd like to ask you a few questions just to see if what we have to offer may be of some help to you. Would that be okay?" Now think about that for a second, right? Cutting the training in half doesn't mean anything if I haven't agreed that I even need training. Well, why would I need training? Well, for this particular company, they train them on how to make sure that their company, their employees, don't do something that causes a ransomware attack. Make sense? So you got to hit the pain point, agitate the pain, scratch that itch. You got to paint that problem up front. I mean, who says no to this? Let me say it again. Watch. "Hi, John. This is Michael Padone with XYZ Company. Listen, the reason for my call, we show employees how to identify malicious emails before they unwillingly release a ransomware attack on your business. And if I caught you at a good time, I'd like to ask you a few questions just to see if what we have to offer may be some help to you. Would that be okay?" So you're agitating the pain, scratching it. You're painting a picture of a potential problem that they want to avoid at all costs. I mean, who, like I said, even if their initial reaction is to want to say no automatically as a knee-jerk reaction, it's going to choke in their throat here. How do you say no to that? Because if you're contacting the right person at the company, the last thing they want is for their one of their employees to take an email, which are getting very sophisticated these days, and accidentally click a link, and all of a sudden now they have to pay $1 million or $5 million or whatever it is to unlock their computers to somebody in a third world country. Nobody wants to deal with that mess. So when you paint that picture right up front in a very short opening value statement, and then you end it with, and I'd like to ask you a few questions just to see if what we have to offer maybe some help. You see, it's all about them. I'm actually calling to see if I can help, and I just need to ask a few questions. And when they say, yeah, okay, sure, I got a second, go ahead, their guard is down, their ears are up, and now you're having a sales conversation. Just make sure you know exactly which questions to ask once you pass level one of the sales. You get to first base, you need to know how to get to second. All right. If you need more tips like this, you just go over to salesbuzz.com. I'll be more than happy to help you out. There's also a free trial, free class you can take that. I'll go into more detail on exactly how to create your own opening value statement that's going to get more sales conversations started. I hope you found this helpful. Take care.